Welcome to the deep dive.
Mm.
You're here because, like us, you want to get straight to the good stuff fast.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're jumping into a very specific Grateful Dead show. May 6, 1980, Penn State University.
Right. And we're working from a retrospective account, someone looking back on it.
Exactly. So the mission here is really to pull out the key moments, get a feel for what that night was actually like.
Yeah, think of it like getting the vibe, the highlights, without needing, the full multi-hour recording right now. We're finding the essence.
Okay, let's dive into that first set. Sounds like they came out swinging. Alabama Getaway right into Greatest Story Ever Told.
Yeah, that's a pretty high-energy opening pair. Definitely sets a tone. Suggests they were ready to go right from the start.
No easing in.
Not at all. The account probably mentions, like, the tempo being up, sharp playing.
But then, almost immediately, a big shift. Peggy-O. Described as beautiful, apparently. That's quite the contrast.
It really is. And it shows that dynamic range they have, from rockers straight into a much more delicate ballad.
Keeps you on your toes.
Totally. It's a classic Dead move, mixing up the moods like that.
Okay, so the energy picks back up. We've got me and my uncle going into Big River, then Loser. Sounds like they kept that momentum going.
Yeah, a solid block there. You can imagine the crowd responding to that kind of flow.
And then something new, for the time anyway. Far From Me. That was off the Go to Heaven album, which had just come out.
Right. Dropping a brand new song into the set. For the heads, that's always like a moment of real focus. What's this sound like live?
How did it land, according to the account Andy mentioned?
Doesn't explicitly say good or bad, but implies attentive curiosity, which sounds about right for a new tune back then.
Gotcha. And then the energy surges again. Lazy lightning into supplication, described as really snappy.
Yeah, like a mid-set booster shot or something, really picking things up.
But it seems the real highlights, things that stood out from set one, were later. A slow, stately Althea.
Suggesting maybe more focus on the nuance, the feel.
Which then leads into Lost Sailor, and that builds into a rip-roaring Saint of Circumstance to end the set. That sounds like a journey.
Absolutely. That pacing, the slower, deeper Althea, making the build through Sailor, and the big release of Saint, even more powerful, a really strong way to close things out.
Okay, so intermission. Sounds like the place was buzzing, charged up.
You bet, after a set like that.
And then a fun moment starting set two. Bobby asking the crowd to take a step back sounds crowded down front.
Yeah, seems like it. And then the band riffs on that idea, playing a little step back theme. That's pretty cool.
Very playful. And that jam apparently morphed right into China Cat Sunflower. Crowd went nuts, it says.
Oh, I bet. That kind of interaction, acknowledging the moment and then dropping into a huge classic like China Cat, that's gold. Really connects band and audience.
And it sounds like they kept the energy high from there. Straight into I Know You, Ryder with extended jams.
The classic pairing. Ryder often opened up for some serious improvisation.
Then Feel Like a Stranger kept it going. The account mentions interplay between Brent and Bobby specifically.
Ah, interesting. You can kind of picture Brent's keyboard textures weaving around Bobby's guitar lines. That instrumental conversation, that's where the magic happens in the jams.
Definitely. Then things shift a bit with He's Gone. The crowd apparently really got into the sing-along, the gospel-y section.
Right, that participation part. And it seems like that energy might have fueled what came next.
Which the account calls the show highlight.
Yeah, a powerful and extended jam on the other one. Longer than usual, it notes.
That audience feedback loop really matters, doesn't it? The crowd energy pushing the band further.
Oh, hugely. You often hear about that. The band feeds off the crowd feeds off the band, and it spirals into those peak moments, like a long other one.
After that peak, though, things sort of leveled out. A short drum solo, some Jerry noodling.
A bit of a breather, maybe.
And then Wharf Rat, described as just okay. Not bad, but not amazing.
And that happens, right? Even in a great show, not every single song is going to hit that absolute peak. It's live music. It's spontaneous.
True. So, wrapping up the second set. Around and around, but apparently without the usual double-time jam at the end.
Oh, interesting detail. Usually that song speeds up significantly.
Yeah, apparently it just went straight into Johnny B. Good.
Okay, so still rock and finish, just maybe a slightly different flavor on Around and Around.
Then for the encore.
Broke Down Palace.
A nice gentle landing after all that energy. Classic encore choice.
Definitely. Sends people home feeling warm,
Yeah.
a sense of closure.
So summing up this Penn State 80 show, it sounds well, really vibrant. Lots of energy, definite peaks in both sets.
Yeah, that strong opening, the way the first set built, and then that big other one jam later on. Plus, hearing new material mixed in.
Right, the Go to Heaven stuff. Shows where they were at that point.
Exactly. A band still evolving, playing established hits, but also working in the new songs and clearly connecting with an energetic audience.
So here's a thought for you listening. Just consider how descriptions like this, even from way back, can still paint such a vivid picture, right? The energy, the flow, that band crowd thing.
It makes you almost feel like you were there.
Maybe even makes you want to track down a recording of this specific show. See how it sounds to your ears.
Worth thinking about. Until next time.